When it comes to sports, cheaters never prosper, or do they? These are the best moments when athletes were caught cheating their way to victory. How this guy thought he'd get away with it, we're not sure. In a moment that stunned the cycling world, Vincenzo Nibali decided to boost his lead with some extra horsepower, courtesy of a team car. His excuse? He was being handed an energy drink. But why did this handover last so long? Fans joked he was kidnapped, but we all know energy drinks don't come with tow ropes. NBA defenses still can't figure out how to stop Steph Curry.
As Curry hit another three for the record. Good! There it is.
So they've leveled up their game plan. During the Warriors road match against the Pelicans, Curry had already nailed 8 3-pointers in just over 2 quarters. One might say he was shooting the lights out, and that's exactly what happened.
Play. Draymond on the push. Steph running with Mulder. Steph himself. Mulder got the rebound, didn't give up on it. Goes Steph. These scattered situations. He shot the lights out. The Pelicans trying to turn. That's a different way to defend Curry right there, is turn the power off when the Warriors have the ball.
Lights out.
Wow.
Let's all now bow down to this Chinese hurdle runner. It's not easy to run with all those things in the way.
That looks like a look of relief on Rob Sloan, the Sunderland Harriers' face.
Fortunately, we managed to pull a third place out with you. How, I don't know.
Rob Sloan thought he'd found a shortcut to marathon glory by hopping on a bus 20 miles in, hiding behind a tree, and then sprinting to the finish to claim third place. But he picked the wrong guy to cheat. The real third place finisher, Steve Cairns, was a police officer who quickly sniffed out the scam and reported it.
I've been made aware that witnesses have come forward and state that they did see Mr. Sloan get on a bus, get off a bus, and then run the last part of a mile into the finishing line after hiding behind a tree, waiting until the first 2 runners had gone past, and then joining in the race and going across the line and taking my glory.
As Steve put out, "I'll get my prize, but he stole my moment on the podium." Some say if you don't look suspicious, you could get away with anything. Damon Green proved that right when he snuggled into a Pelicans huddle like an undercover spy.
Elbow somebody. You can elbow him right to the face. You can't be in your huddle. It's not a game right now.
If you're curious about the darker side of soccer, look no further. In 2006, Juventus, a club with the strongest reputation for cheating and bending the rules, were booted to Series B in the wake of a massive match-fixing scandal. Their coach, Luciano Moggi, was sentenced to 5 years in prison, marking it as one of the most disgraceful moments in sports history. We've explored one of the most corrupt ways to win a league. Now let's delve into one of the most controversial ways to win a match. In 2009, Chelsea and Barcelona met in the second leg of the Champions League semifinal, a game shrouded in controversy. Referee Tom Henning of Rabo denied Chelsea 4 clear penalty appeals.
Lampard has helped it through, and Drogba controls. He's gone down. The referee looked at his linesman and... Anelka, is that handball against PK? The referee says no. Does he move hand? Orange shirt as Lampard takes the corner and Czech was up there and got ahead to it. Ballack has a red appeal, and the referee says no.
And in the dying moments, Andres Iniesta's strike sent Barcelona through on away goals.
Eto'o broke from him, but it's Messi. It's Iniesta! And the Chelsea fans cover their eyes in horror.
A furious Didier Drogba confronted the officials post-match, calling it a...
It's the strongest.
Chelsea's coach Gus Hiddink labeled it the worst refereeing he'd ever seen. Rebo later faced death threats, and UEFA found itself accused of match fixing to prevent a repeat of the previous year's All-English final. With the sheer power it takes to smash tennis shots at over 100 miles an hour, a bit of grunting is par for the course. But when Maria Sharapova's grunts turned into delayed, ear-piercing screams, it was clear she wasn't just letting out the effort. She was also throwing her opponents off their game.
Publikum unterhält sich wieder selbst mit dem Gestöhne hier. Ist natürlich unfair.
This was the moment Brazilian soccer player Rivaldo's acting skills took center stage. And not in a good way. After a Turkish player shot the ball at his leg during a World Cup match, Rivaldo went down clutching his face as if the pain had magically traveled upwards. We might need a nervous system expert here to explain how that works.
He's a cheat. Yep, he's the guy that cheated. Like, he's a cheater.
Of all the ways athletes can cheat, Cameron Bancroft's method might take the cake for creativity. The Aussie cricketer got caught tampering with the ball using none other than sandpaper.
Dave suggested to me to carry the action out on the ball, given the situation that we're in the game, and I didn't know any better.
As you can understand, it's been a tough and emotional time for my wife and the kids.
It was purely the players and the leadership group that came up with this, and as I said, it's not on, and I can promise you it won't happen again.
A match between OKC Thunder and Houston Rockets perfectly depicts what basketball would look like if Earth's gravitational pull was just a little bit stronger. Soccer and Olympic diving might seem worlds apart, but this player is here to blur the lines. Bradley Beal also seems to be taking the same approach with this dolphin flop. The person cheating here may not be an athlete, but they've sure got the accuracy of one. Watch as a fan takes down Kevin Ogletree by tossing their hat. We've now seen fans cheating to trip up athletes they don't like. Some, on the other hand, trip up athletes by calling out athletes for cheating. Just ask golfer Lexi Thompson, who lost a tournament after a keen-eyed viewer noticed she moved her ball an inch closer to the hole.
Whatever. That's just ridiculous.
When informed the penalty would cost her 4 strokes, Thompson's reaction was simply,
Is this a joke? No, it's not. Not at all. It's unfortunate what happened. I did not mean that at all. I didn't realize I did that.
This was the moment Chad Ochocinco was fined $20,000 by the NFL for flashing a dollar bill at an official during a replay challenge. A joking attempt at what the Bengals receiver referred to as a bribe.
As if there he had a dollar in his hand, as if he said, "Oh, I bet you a dollar that that's a completed pass." Watch now.
Either that, he was going to pay off the officials.
The receiver gains control of the ball but does not have 2 feet in bounds. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass.
The Tonya Harding scandal. A scandal so shocking they made a movie about it. In 1994, the United States of America was home to 2 of the best female figure skaters of all time, Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. Harding was one of the few women in the sport capable of performing the elusive triple axel.
Split back in the beginning. Jump, jump, okay, go. Check the card, go for it. Okay, to the defense.
レフェリーのところ何か靴に異常があるんでしょうか。レフェリーは ISU のリンドグレンさん、そして
The two were set to compete for gold at the Lillehammer Winter Olympics, but just weeks before the games, a horrifying event unfolded. Nancy Kerrigan was attacked, struck in the leg by a crowbar. The man behind this vicious assault? Tonya Harding's abusive husband. Tonya Harding has always maintained she knew nothing about the attack, but that didn't stop the fallout. She was slapped with a lifetime ban from the sport and a hefty $100,000 fine and sentenced to 500 hours of community service.
I would like to begin by saying how sorry I am about what happened to Nancy Kerrigan.
The film I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie, delves into Harding's grueling journey to Olympic glory and the rough upbringing she experienced compared to other athletes. Yet despite all the drama, we can't ignore the real victim here, Nancy Kerrigan. In a recent interview, Kerrigan publicly admits she never got a direct apology from Tonya Harding.
So you don't feel like you ever got an apology?
Not a direct. It doesn't matter at this point.
Wow. This is insane.
The scandal is such a sensitive topic for both athletes that Tonya Harding even cut an interview short following a provocative question from Piers Morgan.
But I think the victim in all this wasn't you, it was Nancy Kerrigan, who had her Olympic dream shattered quite literally in her legs.
I believe that we all, thank you so much. I appreciate being on your show, but I think I'm going to have to say have a good night.
Marion Jones and the Sydney Olympics. If you've never heard of Marion Jones, you probably weren't watching the news in the year 2000. This American athlete went from being one of the most beloved figures in the United States to becoming the center of one of the biggest doping scandals in Olympic history. Allegations of performance-enhancing drugs followed Jones since her high school days. But the rumors didn't gain traction until her husband, C.J. Hunter, admitted to using steroids around the time of the Sydney Olympics.
I never thought I'd see the day you guys wanted to photograph me more than my wife.
This revelation cast a long shadow over Jones's stellar achievements. Eventually, the track and field star stepped into the public eye to deliver one of the most shocking speeches in sports history.
I want all of you to know that today I pled guilty to 2 counts. Making these false statements to federal agents was an incredibly stupid thing for me to do, and I am responsible fully for my actions. I have no one to blame but myself for what I have done.
Marion Jones admitted she had been cheating all along, using banned substances to enhance her performance. The fallout was swift and severe. Jones was stripped of her 3 gold medals and 2 bronze medals from the Sydney Games. Her legacy tarnished, she became one of the few athletes ever to serve prison time for cheating. In a candid interview with Piers Morgan, Jones opened up about her experiences behind bars, reflecting on the choices that led to her downfall.
Your husband drives you in 2008 to this prison, and you get dropped off, and you walk in. What are you thinking?
Like, how did this happen? How in the world is my worst nightmare actually happening? I was there for almost 6 months, and there were nights that were extremely hard, missing my family.
Your kids
and
went
everything.
to stay with your family in Barbados.
Correct.
Right? So they were protected in a sense, I guess.
Yeah, I think some of these women would come up and they had been in there 10, 15 years and hadn't had a visit, a letter from a family member. And so at night when I would cry, I'd just be in this deep, deep place. I'd say, you know what, Mary, why are you acting like this when the woman down the hall has been here over a decade and she has no family that's interested in her? If she can wake up every day with this sense of hope and faith, I can certainly do it.
The Spanish Paralympic basketball team. The Paralympics, a celebration of triumph over adversity, where athletes overcome incredible odds to represent their countries. Win or lose, it's an honor just to compete. But what if the athletes had an unfair advantage? The 2000 Paralympic Games in Sydney saw the introduction of the intellectually disabled basketball competition. The Spanish team dominated, beating Russia in the final by 24 points. It seemed like a historic performance. But something was off. The Spanish team was a bit too good. Investigations revealed a shocking truth. The Spanish Federation of Sportspeople with Intellectual Disabilities had included athletes with no disabilities to ensure victory. The only requirement? An IQ of less than 75. Talented basketball players simply answered a few questions incorrectly to qualify. Their mistake? Hiring Carlos Ribagorda, an undercover journalist, to join the team. He exposed the fraud, leading to the stripping of their gold medals. Their gold medals were stripped, but the damage was done. This scandal had a huge effect on the Paralympics and all disabled people. If they could cheat the system, who else could? The Paralympic Committee banned intellectually disabled events, a ban only lifted in 2009. Michelle Smith, 1996. The 1996 Paris Olympics were glorious for Irish swimmer Michelle Smith. With 4 gold medals and a bronze, she made her country proud. But whispers of doping began to circulate despite no initial positive tests for illegal substances.
Because as you know, speculation about the rapid improvement of Michelle Smith over the past year or so has been rampant. An Irish swimming official said today that Michelle Smith has been tested 11 times in the last 12 months, including 3 times by FINA, which is the international governing body of swimming, and of course she was tested after her first 2 victories here, and so far nothing has turned up. Perhaps she deserves a bit more than the benefit of the doubt.
Smith did test positive for androstenedione, a precursor to testosterone. This substance wasn't banned until 1997, and the athlete never tested positive for testosterone. But why consume androstenedione if not to take testosterone? The answer came when Smith was caught tampering with her urine sample using alcohol. Although this didn't lead to losing her medals, it did result in a 4-year ban 2 years later. Smith appealed the ban, but her efforts were in vain. Her career ended at the age of 28, leaving a legacy tainted by scandal.
I mean, obviously, whatever happens, nobody can take these medals away from me, and even if I don't win another medal, I'll be going back a double Olympic champion to Ireland.
Ariarne Titmus in the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Fast forward to the swimmers of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, where Australian star Ariarne Titmus has already won 3 gold medals. Amid her success, it's hard not to notice Titmus's fluorescent yellow fingernails standing out like a sore thumb in the water. Painted in the colors of her nation, the 23-year-old has faced criticism from some fans online. They argue that her acrylic nails might give her an unfair advantage. How are female badminton players of the 2012 London Olympic Games? While some athletes cheat to overexcel, others cheat to perform terribly. Yes, that's a thing, and it's considered a serious violation of the rules. The 2012 London Olympics witnessed one of the most bizarre cheating scandals in badminton history. The female South Korean team, known for being one of the best of their time, began making the most basic errors repeatedly. This wasn't just a case of nerves or bad luck, they were doing it on purpose. The reason? They wanted an easier matchup. The team knew that if they won their current match, they'd end up facing one of the fiercest teams in the tournament. By losing, they hoped to secure a more favorable path to victory. Their actions didn't go unnoticed. Officials quickly caught on to the intentional poor play. The scandal rocked the badminton world, leading to the disqualification of 8 players from the South Korean, Chinese, and Indonesian teams. Cameron Vanderburg, London 2012 Olympic Games. In the London 2012 Olympic Games, South African swimmer Cameron Vanderburg not only won a gold medal, but also set a new world record in the 100-meter breaststroke. But hold on 1 minute, swimming regulations allow for 1 dolphin kick off the wall, whereas Vanderburg was seen doing 3. When asked about the scrutiny, Vanderburg candidly admitted that if he had done any less, he'd have put himself at a disadvantage. Well, we appreciate the honesty. His admission sparked debate, highlighting the fine line between competitive edge and rule-breaking in the world of swimming. Andrea Raducanu and the cold and flu medicine. Imagine getting caught for breaking rules you didn't even know you were breaking. At the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games, Romanian gymnast Andrea Raducanu had been scoring so well that all she needed was to land on her feet to clinch the gold medal. She did this effortlessly, but unfortunately didn't hold on to her medal for long. Behind her triumphant moment lay a controversy. The athlete tested positive for pseudoephedrine, a banned substance found in cold medicine. Although she was stripped of her individual gold, her team medal remained intact. The gymnast was eventually cleared of any wrongdoing as the substance came from over-the-counter medication. Despite this, her disqualification was never revoked. She maintained that if anything, the medicine along with her cold made her performance harder, not easier.